leadership is your heart so full? Are you excited to go and run? Who is excited? I am beyond excited to be in this room of power-packed, full Mary Kay enthusiasm. Bring it on, yes? Oh, feels so good. There's nowhere like the Mary Kay culture to be with your sisters. It is simply the best, wouldn't you agree? You guys, I'm so proud to stand here with my national sales directors, my friends, and all of you leaders. Don't forget your leaders today in this room. Mary Kay is truly the place to grow, achieve, and compete. What an awesome opportunity. Several years ago, I went on a mission trip with my husband, Matt, and our son, Toby, and the youth group from our church. Our mission trip was to Houston, Texas, where we had the privilege of feeding the homeless and serving that community of desperation, sadness, and lack of hope. As we walked through their homes on that sidewalk in the dirt, it was full of stench and drugs, disease, and hopelessness. I flew home on the airplane from that trip trying to process in my immature, abundantly blessed mind what I had just witnessed. But God led me really and truly in a direction that I never imagined, and without him I could have never even seen. The truth was that I'm actually surrounded by women who are hungry and starving every single day. The other truth was that I had the opportunity that could give them hope. You see, the women that I see day in and day out put on a beautiful smile, right? They pose behind a perfect, great filter. But behind that beauty, a lot of days are eyes full of sadness, desperation, broken hearts, lack of hope, and disconnect. You see, I see women every day who are hungry for acceptance. Anyone? Hungry to be seen. They're starving to have a place to belong. They're hungry to compete. They're starving to achieve. They long for approval, applause, that atta girl. They're hungry for a life they actually love instead of one they constantly want to run away from. You see, what I know is that what women are starving for today can be given to them in the most beautiful box with the prettiest pink bow called Mary Kay. We have an opportunity, the Mary Kay opportunity, that has truly given options to more women than we could ever imagine. I want you to think for just a moment, how's Mary Kay Ash, a national sales director, maybe a director, maybe a recruiter, breathed life into you? How has this opportunity fed you? The Mary Kay motto years ago was one woman can, and today the power of just one more. What I want you to remember is that one time you were the one more. You were the one more phone call that someone had the courage to make. You were the one more warm chat that they were shaking and asked you anyway. You were the one more facial, the one more talk to one more person whose life looks perfect on the outside. But behind that pretty smile and great filter, you had a need and you hungered for something more in your own life. And as you process and really remember that you were part of a just one more story, I want you to also remember how many just one more stories that you actually know, how many women you have personally watched start a Mary Kay business as a tight little rosebud and blossom into the most beautiful flower. You see, I have my own just one more story. When I started Mary Kay, I was a pageant girl. Ta-da! Shocker on the outside, right? Everything was great. I had six-pack abs, so I know they do exist for anyone who wants to know, right? I had rock-hard legs, high heels, stilettos, swimsuit competitions, pageant dresses, crowns, rhinestones, and all the glitter a girl could want. I had more crowns than I had places to put them. On the inside, was a little girl who was so scared that she would never measure up. And if she did, it would never be good enough. Anyone? How many women do we sit across from and think she already has the perfect life? I always say I came into Mary Kay with more self-esteem issues than you could fit in a whole pink Cadillac. I remember the day that senior national sales director, Anita Tripp, said, Holly, you're stuck as a sales director and you're not moving forward because of the way you talk to yourself. And for the next month, when you leave this meeting, I want you to take a piece of notebook paper, and every time you say something less than positive to yourself, I want you to write it down. So I drove 2.5 hours home from Georgia to South Carolina. I had 30 days, right, to do this. I had already filled 52 lines, front and back. There were so many negative, doubtful, defeating, not good enough, critical, shame, guilt, thoughts that plagued that little pageant girl. And in a moment, I realized that Tate's, okay, so for those of you born before Google, you know what I'm talking about. So we'll just leave it at that. So Tate's on repeat that were not serving me, right? And I would certainly never allow me to serve other people, because when you're worried about yourself, right? How selfish could I be to simply focus on me and my own insecurities 24/7? So much because the fear of what others thought of me paralyzed me, and I would not share the opportunity of Mary Kay because I didn't want her to decide something negative about me. I didn't want her to ever think I was too pushy. Southern girls are supposed to be polite. We were supposed to say the right thing. We were supposed to do the right thing. Have you ever lived a supposed to life? Lived your life to please everyone else around you, and yet you were miserable? When I look into the eyes of that girl, that 20-year-old young lady, she was sweet and kind and she was positive and fun, but she would cry because she never felt like she would ever measure up to what would be considered good enough. Her greatest life fear wasn't being kidnapped, killed, whatever, nothing. Her greatest life fear was being a disappointment. Enter stage right. How many of you have the privilege of meeting my husband, Matt Lowe? Anyone? The only reason I'm still here today is because of Matt Lowe. It's all his fault. You see, Matt Lowe pulled the giant out of me. He's the one who reminded me day in and day out, his words exactly, Pam Shaw, you'll appreciate this. Holly, there's only one Pam Shaw. You can't be Pam Shaw. You're never going to be Pam Shaw. You got to stop trying to be Pam Shaw. Okay? He said it to me every single day. Holly, stop it. There's only one Pam Shaw. You're never going to be Pam Shaw. I'm like, ugh. I know. And she's my best friend. She doesn't know my name, but I know every word of Now Stand and Deliver from 1998. He said this to me and it changed my life. When you'll be you, the right people will love you for it. And he was right. Pam, you are always the picture of high self-esteem and beauty and self-confidence and self-awareness for me, just like so many of you national sales directors. They just floated on stage. I never floated anywhere. My daddy called me Grace, and I don't mean that to be positive. Right? I always thought as an NSDs, you were the list of everything that I wasn't. Therefore, I would never measure up. All I knew was my booty jiggled when I walked and yours didn't. That's the truth. And the truth was that seemed like enough evidence that God couldn't use me here. Isn't it sad how when we compare, we never, ever, ever measure up? Well, what I didn't know was the truth to crossing the threshold of this position. Anyone interested to know the truth? I'm going to tell you the truth today. Stepping into the NSD role was truly this: owning your own gifts, embracing your imperfections, and being willing to chase down your own God-given dream life potential. What a gift. 13 years I've had the privilege to grow myself. I haven't cried one time at leadership this year. Pull it together, Holly. Okay, I've had such a privilege to grow myself and my leadership skills for 13 years. I learned how to lead strong, dominant women. It has been the greatest gift ever to lead leaders. Because, let me tell you why. When I show up the best version of myself to this business, that's the mom and wife that I bring home to my boys. That's the mom and wife they need the most. Girls, we are not exhausted from doing too much. We're exhausted from doing too little. What sets our hearts on fire? The transformed woman that happens because of Mary Kay opportunity becomes the mom and wife that's needed to raise those babies, to impact her family and community, and change the town and world that she lives in. The power of just one more is you. Instead of feeling that as pressure, the pressure to perform, the pressure to measure up, the pressure that it's all on your shoulders, I want you to simply remember and choose to focus that it's just the most beautiful privilege. My heart believes that God has called you and entrusted you to actually empower women. He has handed you one of the greatest gifts known to mankind. The truth is, when you change one woman, not only do you change that woman in her home, you change every life she touches from that moment forward. My sales director, Chase, taught me when you share the product, you change the outside. When you share the business, you change the inside. You see, when you pass this on, you're passing on a gift, but it's not tangible. But it's a gift of hope, dreams, confidence, and opportunity. Mary Kay said, find a need and fill it. Maybe your I story, share it one more time. Maybe the girl that's on your heart, you're actually willing to reach out to just one more time. The power of just one more multiplied exponentially, that is what brings success. I want to challenge you to walk out of Leadership Conference and embrace the most beautiful, imperfect version of yourself. Hack the distractions. Perhaps social media has plagued you with a little comparison. Do you need to turn the volume down on those people that you follow? And realize that you are an incredible leader and you know how to lead yourself well. The power of just one more could mean one more of you debuts as a national sales director this year. One more of you believes you can do the million this year and you actually strive to achieve it. One more of you cross the line and earn the use of a pink Cadillac. Anyone? One more of you. Just one more of you decides that your dreams and your family are worth it. You see, that's truly the power of one more. You are the one more. I believe the same God who put the sun and the moon and the stars in the sky decided the world needed one of you too today. In 2024, that's not by accident. Have you ever heard the saying, hustle till your haters ask if you're hiring? Well, recently, I saw Megan Chapman post, hustle until your heroes become your girlfriends. Your NSDs, you're my heroes. You're the gift I never knew I needed most in my life. You have elevated my life in ways that I can never thank you for. Thank you for making me better Thank you for holding me high. You held my arms up when I couldn't hold them up myself. You all becoming the one more allows another woman to believe that she can too. Exceedingly and abundant more in 2024. That's what's waiting for you. God bless you all. Hustle hard, brave girl. You got this.
Let's